The Target 12 investigators following an update on the state takeover of Providence schools. November 1st marked 1 year since the Department of Education took control, the first year, of course, dominated by the pandemic. Today, the state came out with a 96-page progress report on what has been done in that first year. Target 12 investigator Steph Machado joining us live now to talk about what is that report. Steph, you have reported on all of these developments over the past year. So what are some of the achievements that the state is now pointing to?
That's right. Well, on top of just making it through the pandemic, closing and reopening the school buildings, the state points to a number of actions they took as they've had control of the school district for a year, starting with the central office reorganization. This resulted in a number of layoffs. So this was really a controversial move, but essentially eliminating jobs in the sort of administrative office on Westminster Street and creating new jobs that are more directly in the schools and supporting teachers, supporting principals, supporting students. In addition, they focused on multilingual learners, giving incentives to teachers to become certified in English as a second language, creating a new executive director of multilingual learners to oversee the program. They've also started to make moves on improving the school buildings. This is a much longer term project, but the city is going to acquire the old St. Joseph's Hospital to become a school, as we've reported. A vacant elementary school is going to become swing space so they can do some major construction projects on existing schools. So a number of things the state is touting so far as sort of making strides in their first year of this, what will be a multi-year takeover of the schools, with the goal of giving them back to the city at some point.
Now, Steph, when Rhode first proposed taking over the district, we talked a lot about the teacher's contract being an impediment to that progress. That was according to Johns Hopkins' report from last summer. What progress, if any, has been made now on that front?
Not much, Brian. The teachers' contract, the Providence Teachers Union contract expired at the end of August. Both sides were hoping they would have a deal in place by then. The union and Rhode had been negotiating for months. They did not have a deal in place by then. Fast forward to December, they have been negotiating, but there is still no new contract between the teachers union and Rhode. And the two sides, I'm told, are still far apart. Commissioner Angelica Infante Green says she wants big transformational changes to the contract, including when it comes to hiring and firing of teachers. Here's what she said when speaking to reporters this morning.
We know that we'll keep moving forward, but we're not going to see the traction that we need if we don't get that teacher's contract changed. We are at a place where we keep moving ahead, but that is the one place where I feel like our hands have been tied, and we're still at the negotiating table.
And you may recall the commissioner said earlier this fall that if there was no deal by the end of the year, that there could be drastic changes made. She's now backing off of that timeline as we have reached the end of the year, but she wouldn't comment on what her timeline is to take some sort of drastic action, such as imposing a contract on the teachers union if no deal is reached.
All right, so the big question, can the commissioner even do that? And if she can, is the union talking about it right now?
That's right. So the union, of course, says she cannot do that, and they would certainly sue if Rhode tried to impose a contract on the union. But here's the thing, this is sort of uncharted waters. The state took control of the Providence Public Schools last year under this law called the Crowley Act. It does give them broad power over the personnel and programs of the school district, and Rhode has interpreted that to mean they can change contracts, put mandates on the teachers that may not go along with what's in the contract. So this is going to have to be, if they do that, this is going to have to be ultimately settled in the courts, Brian.
A lot has happened this year. Our Steph Machado, thanks for joining us live at 4.